I built a spreadsheet, just a simple Excel tracker, and it became the foundation of everything I've built. Not because I was trying to build an app, not because I wanted to create a product, but because my traders needed something that didn't exist. And when I finally understood what the real problem was and what the spreadsheet actually solved, that's when the story got interesting. I'm going to walk you through how a piece of paper became a tool that changed how serious traders measure themselves, and why the journey from spreadsheet to app is the only way I would do it. When I started coaching traders, I noticed something consistent. Every trader I worked with could tell me their win rate, they could tell me their average winner, their average loser, and they could talk about their strategy for hours. But when I asked them about their activation level during that trade, blank stare. When I asked about their execution integrity, what percentage of their trades they actually executed according to plan, they didn't have a number. When I asked about their regulation score, how regulated they were across different market conditions, they had no idea. And that's when I realized traders are tracking the wrong metrics. They're obsessing over P&L and win rate, but they're not measuring the thing that actually produces the P&L, the regulation. So I did what any coach would do. I built a spreadsheet, a simple tracker, a column for the date, a column for the session, one for risk, one for activation level going in, one for the peak activation level during the trade, and one for their execution integrity on that trade, and also some for breaches and the outcome. 13 columns. That's all I needed. And this data was then pulled into the dashboard, which summarized their activation, their execution integrity for the week, and produced a regulation score and zone. And the moment my traders started filling that in, everything changed. Because once traders could see their activation level on a chart, not as an idea, but as an actual data across 30 trades, they could see their patterns. One trader realized he was entering trades at an activation level of 7 or higher, 80% of the time. No wonder his win rate was low. He was trading dysregulated. Another trader discovered that her execution integrity was 20% higher on morning trades than afternoon trades. So she stopped trading afternoons. That single change doubled her profitability. A third trader looked at his regulation score across different market conditions and realized he completely fell apart in choppy markets. So he added a rule: no trading during chop. The spreadsheet wasn't pretty, but it worked because it made something invisible, the nervous system state that you're trading from, actually visible. But then something happened that changed everything. My traders were using the spreadsheet. They were filling it out, but they weren't sending it to me. At least not all of them. Some traders would send their tracker weekly, some daily. Others, I'd never see their data. And I'm sitting there as a coach thinking, how am I supposed to help you if I don't know what's happening? And that's when I realized the real problem wasn't tracking. The real problem was accountability. So I started thinking about an app, not because I wanted to build a product, but because I realized if my traders log into an app and input their trades there, I can see their data in real time. I can go in, look at what's actually happening, and give them feedback right in the app, not days later, but right then. That accountability layer changed everything because suddenly all my traders' data was visible to me. I could see patterns I would have missed. I could intervene before they spiraled. But once I got into the app, building it day after day, I started seeing opportunities. What if the app could be smarter? What if it could actually help them regulate themselves? So I added behavioral logic. Not when a trader breaks a rule, now when a trader breaks a rule, or enters with an elevated activation level, or has a breach, the app points it out. It gives them 3 decisions: end the session, pause, regulate and continue, or ignore the warning completely and continue anyway. And that feature alone stopped my traders from spiraling. Because instead of discovering a problem days later in their journal, the app catches it in real time and forces them to make a conscious decision. Then I thought, what if they could log their strategies in the app? What if they could see which strategies are actually working? Which ones affect the regulation in ways that they don't realize? So I added strategy tracking, confluence tracking. Now every trader can see this strategy has a 78% win rate, but it elevates my AL to 8. That other strategy has a 62% win rate, but I stay calm. Which one is really the edge? Then I added a P&L calendar, which is not visible to me. That is private to the traders, and a back tester, a complete tracking system. So there's no need for a separate journal or spreadsheet or notebook or software. So what started as 13 columns in Excel became a complete ecosystem where tracking happens, where accountability happens, where self-awareness happens, all in one place. So I did something most people wouldn't do. I didn't hire some agency to slap together a quick app. I invested in building the infrastructure right. Firebase backend, real-time data syncing, coach dashboards, member dashboards, role-based access. Why? Because the data was too important to get wrong. Traders were building self-awareness on top of this tool, and I wasn't going to build on sand. It took a little longer than it should have. It cost more than a quick solution would have. But when we launched the full app, it did everything the spreadsheet did and more, much more, with reliability and security built in. And here's the thing that validated the whole journey. Not a single trader asked us to change the core metrics. Not one. Because the metrics were right from day one. The spreadsheet had already proven that. The app just made the data cleaner, the tracking easier, and the insights deeper. And if you stay to the end, I'll show you what it looks like. Now here's what I learned from this. Most people build products backwards. They have an idea, they build it, and then they try to find the problem that it solves. I built it forwards. I had a problem. I solved it with a tool. Then I built the infrastructure around that solution. And that's why the app doesn't have features some traders don't need. It doesn't have dashboards that don't matter. Every single element of the NeuroTrade regulation OS exists because a trader asked for it, because a coach needed it, because the data demanded it. And that's also why traders who use it don't treat it like a tool. They treat it like a mirror, a way of seeing themselves clearly. And when you have clarity, everything changes. Your activation level stops being a feeling and becomes a data point. Your execution integrity stops being a story you tell yourself and becomes a measurable percentage. Your regulation score stops being a concept and becomes a map of your psychology across different conditions. And once you have that clarity, the protocols work, the interventions work, and the change sticks. The reason I'm sharing this is because I think there's something important about how products are built and how change actually happens. If I had tried to build the perfect app without first understanding the problem deeply, without first solving it manually with a spreadsheet, I would have built the wrong thing. The NeuroTrade Regulation OS works because it came from real traders solving real problems, not from me deciding what they should track. And if you're struggling with consistency in your trading, that's what you're looking for. Not a magic tool, a tool built on top of a solution that already proved it works. So if you want to use the NeuroTrade Regulation OS, you have options. It comes built into the NeuroTrade core, which is the complete membership with community and weekly coaching calls. It comes built into the Calm Assassin Rewire, my one-on-one coaching program. Or you can subscribe to it on your own. All the same features, all the same tracking, all the same accountability system. You can even test it out for 7 days with the 7-day reset. All the links are below. Drop me a comment. What are your thoughts? And did you know that most traders aren't tracking their activation level? That was the moment that changed everything for me with my trading. So subscribe. Share this with a trader who's obsessed with win rate, but never measures regulation. And I'll see you in the next one.